here. Om Jnana-timirandhasya Jnana-anjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Cheva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Mudirayet. Okay, so excuse me. So we have been reading the fantastic prayers by Queen Kunti, the all famous prayers. So how many have we done? Can you tell me?
One.
One. That's right. So we're going to go and do the second one today. Okay. And which will be the first canto, 8th chapter, and the text will be 19 because Kunti Maharani's prayers start from verse number 18. All right. So let's see. Let's try something here. And let's see. Here. I need to share my screen with you. And I'm sharing my text out number 2. Can you tell me who you see over there?
Prabhupada.
Prabhupada? Sure?
Of course.
Yes.
Everybody agrees? All right.
Yes.
Okay. And then what do you see here?
Garnitai. Srila Prabhupada. And this is Guru Maharaj's deities?
No.
No.
No, okay.
Do you see Narsingam Dev?
Very small.
Yes, yes, yes.
Right. And then we see here Laddu Gopal. Yeah, this is my god sister Ishwari Radha Mataji's altar. Amazingly, it's beautiful. She does all these beautiful decorations every day in her home. All these beautiful flowers and the prasadam she serves. It's so beautifully arranged. It's amazing. So let's get going then into verse number 19, and let's go here. So it says, Maya Javani Kachanam Adhokshajam Avyayam Na Lakshyase Murdrisha Nato Natyadharo Yatha Maya Javani Kachanam Adhokshajam Avyayam Na Lakshyase Murdrisha Nato Natyadharo Yatha Maya Javanikachanam Agyadhokshajam Avyayam Na Lakshyase Murdrisha Nato Natyadharo Yatha. And the translation says, being beyond the range of limited sense perception. And so this is Kunti Maharani. She's praying to the Supreme Lord. And she says, being beyond the range of limited sense perception, you are the eternally irreproachable factor covered by the curtain of deluding energy. You are invisible to the foolish observer, exactly as an actor dressed as a player is not recognized. And let me just stop it here a little bit to take you to the previous verse that we did. So in this verse, what is Kunti, what is the main thing that Kunti is talking about? What main thing? So here, let me show the translation for you. What main fact about Krishna is being talked about here? And you can have multiple answers, it's okay. More. Sadhana Mataji says faultless. Anybody else thinks about anything else? Beyond the material conception, beyond the range of sense perception, right? So basically it's talking about perceive. It's talking about seeing, right? And so let's go back to one verse prior and see what did Kunti Maharani start with when she started doing the prayers. So she knows that Krishna is his nephew. And so he's not saying Namaste nephew, Bhanja, Bhatija, whatever, right? She's saying Namaste Purusham Twadvam. Immediately she's saying you are the Adi Purusha. And then now because you are the Adi Purusha, I'm going to bow down to you, because bowing down to those lower to you isn't considered to be an offense. And Ishvara Prakrite Param, right? You're controller, you're beyond the modes of material nature. Alaksham Sarvabhutanam. Alaksham. Can somebody look at that and tell me what is the meaning of Alaksham? Alaksham means what?
The invisible.
The invisible, right? Okay. So Alaksham means invisible, means it's got something to do with the seeing, right? People cannot see him because he is invisible. And in today's verse also, the same concept is continuing. And in the purport to the first prayer of Queen Kunti, Prabhupada is saying this check-in curtain is called Maya, energy of the Supreme Lord, and it controls the limited vision of the rebellious soul. This is explained as follows. And of course, now we are following up a week later with the next verse there, where he's saying that you are invisible. And now I just wanted to bring in something which I like, is a little poem. I really enjoyed ever since I was a small child, and I still enjoy. And so let me share that with you. And I hope you'll be able to see that on your screens. So this poem is called The Six Blind Men and the Elephant. Okay. It was 6 men of Indostan. Of course, you can't pronounce it, so he's saying, it was 6 men of Indostan, to learning much inclined, who went to see the elephant, though all of them were blind, that each by observation might satisfy his mind. The first approached the elephant, and happening to fall against his broad and sturdy side, at once began to bawl. God bless me, but the elephant is very like a wall. The second, feeling of the tusk, cried, ho, what have we here? So very round and smooth and sharp, to me it's mighty clear. This wonder of an elephant is very like a spear. The third approached the animal, and happening to take the squirming trunk within his hands, thus boldly up and spake. I see, quoth he, the elephant is very like a snake. The fourth reached out an eager hand and felt about the knee. What most this wondrous beast is like, it's mighty plain, quoth he. It's clear enough the elephant is very like a tree. The fifth, who chanced to touch the ear, said, even the blindest man can tell what this resembles most, deny the fact who can. This marvel of an elephant is very like a fan. The sixth no sooner had begun about the beast to grope, Then seizing on the swinging tail that fell within his scope, I see, quoth he, the elephant is very like a rope. So why did I bring this? When I was in school, I was asked to memorize these 6 or 7 verses which were there. What was missed and hidden from me, for whatever reasons, I don't know, was the remaining paragraph of this poem. And I don't know whether it was added later or what, but here it comes. So oft in theologic wars, the disputants, I ween, rail on in utter ignorance of what each other mean, and prate about an elephant not one of them has seen. So you see, we are all blind. And in Kali Yuga, we are blinder, more blind than the elephant, right? Than the blind man of Hindustan. So nobody has seen the God. And if we try to use our material senses to define and understand and bring under the control of our intellect God, then we will fail in properly describing him, in as much as the 6 men failed to properly describe what an elephant was. Then they were, one was so far off from the other, like, is he a wall or is he a snake? You know, so far apart description there. And that very fact is actually brought out in this verse that we are talking about. And let me bring this up on the screen here again, our verse from today. And she's saying, Maya javani kachanam agya adhokshajam avyayam. And let's go to our favorite part of the class, the word by word translation. So what's the word by word translation? Maya means deluding. Javanika is curtain. So what's the color of the Javanika in your room? Do you have a cloth Javanika or do you have a plastic Javanika? Because this is the age of plastic, right? Everything is plastic, including money, right? So Javanika is curtain. Achannam is covered by. Agya, ignorant. Adhokshajam, beyond the range of material conception, which means it's transcendental. Avyayam, irreproachable. Na, not. Lakshyase, observed or seen. Mudhadrisha, by the foolish observer. Nataha, artist. Natyadharaha, dressed as a player. Yatha, as. Okay, so this has got, so what this is saying is that you cannot see the Lord. Why? Because he is beyond the range of the material conception. And we will see that. We see that when we will see that in our Bhagavad Gita classes. I don't know how many years from now, but we will reach surely someday chapter number 11 in Bhagavad Gita. And here Arjuna is telling Krishna that by my hearing the instructions you have kindly given me about these most confidential spiritual subjects. Of course, Krishna has talked to him in chapter 9, which is Raja Vidya Rajaguhyam. He has talked to him about the most confidential knowledge there. And then to 10, he's talking about his opulences. And then so here he's saying that by hearing your instructions about that, he says that my illusion has now been dispelled. O lotus-eyed one, I have heard from you in detail about the appearance and disappearance of every living entity and have realized your inexhaustible glories. O greatest of all personalities, O supreme form, though I see you here before me in your actual position, as you have described yourself, I wish to see how you have entered into this cosmic manifestation. I want to see that form of yours. That's what Arjuna is requesting. He wants that to be done. Okay. So then he continues and he says, if you think that I am able to behold your cosmic form, now this is such a nice way, this is such a sweet way a devotee is talking to the Lord, because he's not in the mood of, I order and you fulfill my order. I demand and you are my order supplier, like that. He's saying that if you think that I'm able to behold your cosmic form, O my Lord, O Master of all mystic power, then kindly show me that unlimited universal self. So he wants to see the universal form, right? It's chapter 11. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, my dear Arjuna, he's his disciple, so very dear to him, O son of Pritha, now see now my opulences, hundreds of thousands of varied divine and multicolored forms. So he's showing him the divine forms. He's saying, see now. So from now onwards, you can see. O best of the Bharatas, see here the different manifestations of Adityas, Vasus, Rudras, Ashwini Kumaras, and all the other demigods. Behold the many wonderful things that no one has ever seen or heard of before. Then he says, O Arjuna, whatever you wish to see, behold at once in this body of mine. This universal form can show you whatever you now desire to see and whatever you want to see in the future. Everything moving and non-moving is here completely in one place. So he's showing him his form, all that is describing, he's telling him what he can see present as well as the future, past, whatever, right? But then here he says, but you cannot see me with your present eyes. And that explains the Adhoksaja in our current verse, right? You cannot see me with your present eyes. Therefore, I give you divine eyes. Behold my mystic opulence. Sanjay said, O king, having spoken thus, the Supreme Lord of all mystic power, the personality of Godhead, displayed his universal form to Krishna. And then Arjun continues, and in that universal form, now with this, Arjun saw in that universal form unlimited mouths, unlimited eyes, unlimited wonderful visions. The form was decorated with many celestial ornaments and bore many divine upraised weapons. He wore celestial garlands and garments, and many divine scents were smeared over his body. All was wondrous, brilliant, unlimited, and all expanding. So you see, Arjuna also was, Krishna was Adhoksaja to Arjuna till he granted. So one of the things we have to keep in mind is that to be able to see God, we should have the necessary adhikar or entitlement or the qualification to be able to see God. Actually, it's not even that. It's not even that because God is transcendental and that's why we can't see him. We can't even see so many material things, right? Infrared, ultraviolet, those kind of rays, right? There's so many things that you can't see. We can't see inside our stomach. We can't see the food being digested and so on and so forth, right? And not only that, in this universe, right? I'm sitting on a planet. If I take my eyes, head out of the window, I can see the universe. But can I see everything? No. Can I see Mount Sumeru, the mountain of gold? Thank God, I don't, right? So in order to be able to see certain things, even in this material world, you need to have the entitlement. What to talk of having the desire to be able to see God in front of us. So if we go to the next slide here, back to our verse. Maya javani kachannam agyadhoksajam avyayam na lakshyase murdisha nato natya. dharo yatha. So what is she saying? That she's saying that being beyond the range of limited sense perception. And what is the Sanskrit for that? Can you tell me? Adhoksajam, yes, adhoksaj or adhoksajam. So he's saying that because you are beyond the range of limited sense perception, we are limited, right? And we have heard about that. We have read about that so many times, discussed about that so many times, that our senses are not perfect, right? They are limited. They can do certain things and can do certain things like that, right? And we have got defects also. They are so defective and whatnot. So she's saying, yeah, we are beyond the range of whatever limited that we have. And that is why Arjuna, when he was asking that question of Krishna, he said, if you think, he's saying, if you think that I am, qualified to see it, then show me, like that, right? Because he knows he has got, limits to his capabilities and capacities. And so now she's giving a very nice explanation of why we are not able to see the Lord. And he says that why? Although you are eternally irreproachable, so she's qualifying and she's glorifying the Lord, you're eternal and you cannot be faulted. Nobody can fault you and find a single fault in the Supreme Lord, right? But what happens is the curtain of deluding energy. The curtain of deluding energy is, it's like as if a curtain comes and it hides everything. Like if I take the curtain of my hand and put it in the camera, then I will disappear from here, right? So similarly, she's saying that it's covered by the curtain of deluding energy. And what's the name of deluding energy in Sanskrit? What do you call that?
Maya.
Maya. There you go. Right? So she's saying that you are the eternal approachable factor, but you are covered by the curtain of deluding energy. And so we had talked about, there are two things that the material energy does, right? And one is that it throws us. And what that means is that it will take the jiva soul and throw it into a body. So suddenly we are a pig, like Indra suddenly found that he was a pig and he had a wife, right? And then they had kids, like that. So, it'll throw you in your body. And then the avaratmika, other quality of Maya is that it will cover. And what this basically means is that when you are in the body of a pig, then you act like a pig. When you're in the body of a lion, the same soul will act like a lion. The same soul, when it goes into a rat, forgets that it was a lion in the previous birth and is scared now of the lion, like that. So it covers everything for us. And also, when it covers the jiva soul with all that, then God is also covered. And you are not able to see. And people are not able to see, although God is visible here as in the universal form, as we saw in the 11th chapter. If we have a desire to see God, we will be able to see him in the places, maybe not with the flute in hand, but in the taste of water, like that, right? So she's saying here that when people go to watch a movie, and you will not believe it, we used to have, I think once a month, I don't know, Vidya Vadhu, if she's watching, she might remember, at some frequency, our mom used to take us to the cinema hall. And in those days, there used to be a villain called Pran. I don't know who you were, Chana Mataji must know.
No.
Pran. And he was a bad man. So whenever Pran used to come on the screen, I used to be scared in my chair. I would be so very scared. And then Pran would go and do bad things to the heroine and separate her from the hero. I would not understand all that because I was too small from where I'm recalling. And then but Vidyavadhu would cry when she was older, and then she could understand that. And then, some of the smarter ones who were more into movies and all that, but next day they will ask, so one of my pastimes, which we also do, because in those days we didn't have, toys and iPads, which the modern day games and toys that kids have these days, we didn't have that. So we used to make do with whatever was there. Like I used to dig up the earth and make, utensils and statues and things like that. That was my afternoon pastime. All of us used to do that. And so one of my pastimes also was to take the newspaper, and there used to be one full page dedicated to advertisements about movies and in which theater they were playing. And our game was not necessarily about the movies, but Vidyavadhu would ask me and say, okay, tell me where is, and she was not supposed to tell me, pronounce the word. She was supposed to tell me the spelling, and then I was supposed to go and hunt in the whole newspaper, that page as to where that is. So she'll say, where is AMBA, which is the Amba Theater. I had to go and look at that. Where is RIVOLI? So like that, because we had to go and search for that. And then somewhere, sometimes in the bottom, it will say, starring Dilip Kumar, Sanjeev Kumar, things like that. I had no idea who is Dilip Kumar, who is Sanjeev Kumar. I had no idea. I would go and watch the movie. Okay, now here's your, you see a boy. Okay, others will say, oh, he's Dilip Kumar. Okay, he's Dilip Kumar. Now 6 scenes later, can't recognize. Somebody's coming and dancing, everybody's sadhana. I had no idea. This is Maya. You are invisible to the foolish observer. That is what Kunti is. The foolish observer is looking at the movie, cannot recognize and thinking, he's going to kill me. He's going to come out of the theater. Exactly as an actor dressed as a player is not recognized by the foolish observer. So Kunti Maharani is describing all of us and saying that, you are, and she goes on and she uses the word Adhoksaja, which is beyond the material conception. And so, Adhoksaja, if you go and look a little bit deeper into from where this word is actually coming. So this is the Sanskrit alphabet, or whatever picture I could grab right from the internet of the Sanskrit alphabet. I hope it's accurate. So otherwise our Sanskrit pronunciation guide on nityasankirtan.com will have that. So here, we have these vowels, and then we have all these consonants, and then the conjunct consonants like that. So these are known as kavarg, chavarg, tavarg, tavarg, pavarg, and all that, right? So when we try to speculate, we speculate using our senses. Just as the 6 blind men were trying to speculate as to how the elephant looks like, right? So they were using their sense of touch to figure it out, right? So we can use our senses to figure out. We can use our brains to figure out what Krishna is. But what the word Adhoksaja is telling us, that, okay, whatever you want to think, with whatever way you want to contemplate and speculate on how Krishna is using any of your senses, or even if you use the Sanskrit alphabet and take one line of it, right, the vowel, and then combine it with any of the other lines which are there, the consonant, and try to describe God, right? So can you combine something from the first line and something from the second line? Can you combine something and tell me one word that describes God? You can pick up. Sadhana Mataji, you are excused.
Ah is the first word.
Yeah, but these are the vowels, so you can use the vowels, and you'll have to combine them with the consonants here.
Okay. Second is dha.
Mataji, first line we can have g.
Okay. And then?
Then pa pa ba bha bha bhag va. Then va.
Okay.
Then ki matra
Okay.
a. We have
All
taken
right.
a.
You have taken a.
And then And then no from
Na.
no.
Okay, so you created Bhagwan, right? Okay, can you give me one quality of Bhagwan?
Wait, where is G in the first line?
Go. Go and go. Both are there.
Yeah.
Go, go, go,
Oh,
go.
you're taking this as the first line. Okay, I thought you meant that from the top. the-
Bhagavan. Acha, she said Bhagavan.
She
Okay.
made Bhagwan, right? So you can use this to make Sundar, he's Sundar, right? Balwan. So you can use
Yeah.
these. So what you can do is from each of these lines, right? You can take something from this line, the A, you can take something from the Kas, from the Cha line, from the Ta line, from the Ta line, from the Pa line, from the Ya line, from the Sha line, from the Ksha line. You know, you can pick up anything, any combinations, as many as you like, and you can keep on describing God, keep on describing God. So remember what I'm trying to say now? From the A row to the Ksha row,
Adhoksaja.
right? So from there, so the
Yeah.
root is coming from there. The word Adhoksaja basically means that he is beyond this. You can use any combination, you know.
Any combination.
Vachana Mataji used 5 letters from there and said Bhagwan, right? You can take 55 from there combinations and at 500 combinations, 6,000 combinations, 18,000 verses of Bhagavatam.
We can put Krishna also.
Put anything that you like. But this, what this verse is saying is that this is, he is from A to Cha, you know, he's beyond.
Yeah.
He's beyond that, right? So Adhoksha means where these kinds of speculations that we do, beginning from A to the Ksha, this conjunct consonant, which is K and Sha combined, will not act on Krishna. We cannot bring Krishna under the subordination of our speculation. That is what Kunti Maharani is saying.
God.
That is what you are. You cannot be by any of the senses, because they were seeing the elephant with their senses, right? I mean, we see, and we also see things through our intellect. For example, if I sit and start explaining something to Sadhana Mataji, and she wants to tell me every now and then that she's understood it, right? So she will say, I see, I see, I see. What are you seeing? I'm talking to you. What are you seeing? Because when you also understand things, so there is a seeing from the intellect also that happens. When you understand things, you use the word see, right? Bulb jala sir mein. You know, the idea bulb that glows, like there is seeing involved in thinking there, right? So adhokshas is that. From that point to that particular point there.
Beautiful.
Like that, right? So I will stop here and open it up for reflections. And let's see, we can end this. We don't really need this. And go back to our verse. And maybe we didn't read the purport though. Let's read the purport also. In Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna affirms that less intelligent persons make mistakes. Less intelligent person mistake him to be an ordinary man like us, and thus they deride him. The same is confirmed herein by Queen Kunti. The less intelligent persons are those who rebel against the authority of the Lord, which means all of us. Such persons are known as asuras. Oh, the asuras cannot recognize the Lord's authority. When the Lord himself appears among us as Rama, Narsimha, Varaha, or in his original form as Krishna, he performs many wonderful acts which are humanly impossible. As we shall find in the 10th canto of this great literature, Lord Shri Krishna exhibited his humanly impossible activities even from the days of his lying on the lap of his mother. He killed the Putana witch, although she smeared her breast with poison just to kill the Lord. The Lord sucked her breast like a natural baby, and he sucked out her very life also. Okay, and similarly, he lifted the Govardhan hill just as a boy picks up a frog's umbrella, and stood several days continuously just to give protection to the residents of Vrindavan. These are some of the superhuman activities of the Lord described in the authoritative Vedic literatures like the Puranas, Itihasas, histories, and Upanishads. He has delivered wonderful instructions in the shape of the Bhagavad Gita. He has shown marvelous capacities as a hero, as a householder, as a teacher, and as a renouncer. He is accepted as the Supreme Personality of Godhead by such authoritative personalities as Vyas, Deval, Asit, Narada, Madhava, Shankara, Ramanuja, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Jiva Goswami, Vishnu Chakravarti, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, and all other authorities of the line. He himself has declared as much in many places of the authentic literature. And yet there is a class of men with demoniac mentality who are always reluctant to accept the Lord as the supreme absolute truth. This is partially due to their poor fund of knowledge and partially due to their stubborn obstinacy, which results from various misdeeds in the past and present. Such persons could not recognize Lord Shri Krishna even when he was present before them. Another difficulty is that those who depend more on their imperfect senses cannot realize him as the Supreme Lord. Such persons are like the modern scientists. They want to know everything by their experimental knowledge, but it is not possible to know the Supreme Person by imperfect experimental knowledge. He is described here as Adhoksaja, or beyond the range of experimental knowledge. All our senses are imperfect. We claim to observe everything and anything, but we must admit that we can observe things under certain material conditions only, which are also beyond our control. The Lord is beyond the observation of sense perception. Queen Kunti accepts this deficiency of the conditioned soul, especially of the women class who are less intelligent. For less intelligent men, there must be such things as temples, mosques, or churches, so that they may begin to recognize the authority of the Lord and hear about him from authorities in such holy places. For less intelligent men, this beginning of spiritual life is essential, and only foolish men decree the establishment of such places of worship, which are required to raise the standard of spiritual attributes of the mass for the mass of people. For less intelligent persons, bowing down before the authority of the Lord, as generally done in the temples, mosques, or churches, is as beneficial as it is for the advanced devotees to meditate upon him by active service. There you go. Fantastic purport by Srila Prabhupada. And I see a hand already there. So go ahead, Sadhana Mataji. Let's see your question.
Yeah, so, well, I had one original one, but now I've got this one, which is key. So when we talk about intelligence, why does it say that women are less intelligent than men here? And because on the other hand, it's always stated that we are not the body, but the soul. So in that sense, we are equal. But then you read something like this, right? I've heard some ideas behind it, but I thought it'd be good to discuss with you today. So if you don't mind explaining that, thank you.
And what's the other question? You also had one more, right?
Oh yeah, so I think in the translation that you show from I think database, it's beyond range of material perception. On the slide, it's beyond material conception.
Okay.
But I think, because when I read the slide first, that was actually pretty powerful, because beyond the range of material conception just means that anything that we know material is already negated, right?
Yes.
So because we're limited to the material, we're just and we don't even have to talk about our senses. It's just given at that point, right? It's not even that they're weak or unpowerful. It's just that they're not possible, right?
Yes.
Correct.
Wrong instrument. Yeah.
Yes, wrong instrument.
Yeah.
So that was it. I just saw the different words, material conception versus material sense of perception versus conception. So.
Yeah. So
Sorry.
Yeah, so women, right?
Yeah. Men are less intelligent.
Men are less intelligent, right? Okay. So now here on this Zoom call, we have some very powerful and very smart women with a very smart thing that they have come to a class on Bhagavatam, never mind who's teaching it, right? So how can we then accept this fact that women, and Shastras say that all the time, that women are less intelligent, right? So, and we say that we are the souls and not the bodies. So yes, at the transcendental level, there is no difference between a soul in a man's body and a soul in a woman's body. And why? And I'm going to tell you a very interesting thing, Sadhana Mataji.
Okay.
Why is there no difference between the soul in a man's body and a soul in a woman's body is that Bhagavad Gita chapter 2 says that the soul is unchangeable. Number one. And then Krishna also said there are many, many births that you have taken, and and this, I have also come and you have forgotten, but I remember. Results in that, right? So this means that a soul can go from a man's body to a woman's body, again to a woman's body, and again to a man's body, but the soul doesn't change. This means the soul in a man's body and a soul in a woman's body have to be same, right? So QED, right? Now comes the problem. Then are we talking about in the bodily terms? Exactly. So this distinction which is being made here is being made on a material platform. Is there a difference between a male body and a female body? Yes, of course there is, right? In every species of life, there's a difference between them, okay? Now, although when we are talking about this, right, we are not talking about the gross body. I mean, of course, gross body is within our range of material perception. You can see this is a man, this is a woman. There are so glaringly contrasting difference between man and look at a peacock, a female peacock and a male peacock. See how much difference is there in the body, right? So the differences are there. Now, what we are talking about is in the subtle body. So now, and we have to also keep in mind, so the subtle body is your consciousness, the mind, what thoughts are there, right? So we'll take a step back also, and we will think also, talk about why does a soul get a woman body and why does a soul get a man's body?
Okay.
Right? That's the question. Like, okay, you're saying a man's body is much better. Men are much better and they are intelligent than women. But tell me, why did I get this woman's body? I think I'm intelligent. I got all A grades or something like that, we might say, right? So first, when they talk about the word intelligence, here they are talking about using their intelligence in spiritual matters. Number one. And number two, women are by nature more innocent than men. So I'm talking here about the consciousness of a woman. They can be easily misled. And because they can be easily misled, that's why Prabhupada says that they have to be protected with a brother or a husband or a father, like that, right? Because in general, so you remember, these shastras and whatever I said, they're not meant for any one of you. Because what you are doing is happening on a transcendental platform, right? You are doing devotional service. That's why you're here, right? We have not come here to discuss the color of the dupatta or, what sari you are wearing or your hairstyle or if you have frizz in your hair. And, we're not talking about that, right? We come here to discuss transcendental topics. So on that level, we are at the level of operating on the platform of a soul. So there is no difference between a soul in a man's body and a soul in a woman's body, okay? And that is why we're saying that the sooner we move towards self-realization, the sooner we'll move out of this bodily concept. Because the moment we are in the bodily concept, and then I'm governed by my material consciousness, and if I'm in a woman's body. So women by nature are, full of mamatva, mine. This is my husband. This is my child.
Yes.
This is their child, not mine.
Yeah.
I mean, I still remember, even if you're trying to control your thoughts, these thoughts will still come. And I remember once my daughter was playing with her cousin, which is my husband's sister's daughter. So Megha and Shweta were the names. They were playing. They were on a swing. So they were swinging outside. And we were leaving. We had gone to visit them. So we were leaving. I was packing inside to, drive back home. And my husband was, I think he was outside. Yeah, all the men were outside and they were with the swinging and all that was happening. And suddenly there was a thud, somebody fell down. And I just heard the words like, take her to the doctor. It's bleeding very badly, like that, So obviously I rushed out and I looked at my husband. I said, who has, what happened, who fell down? And he said, Shweta fell down. And a voice went inside my heart. Thank God it is not Megha. And then I was so ashamed of that thought that, Shweta is equally dear to me. Why did that thought even come to my mind? And I never had an answer. I talked to my brother, I talked here and there, and they were like, no, it's okay. It's a mother's thing. My brother just said, it's a motherly thing. Don't feel very guilty about it. It's a motherly thing that you did, right? And but now I understand, reading Srila Prabhupada's thing, that because of I had that consciousness, which I developed over so many lifetimes, one, and because of some of the karmic reactions that I'm supposed to suffer, like birth of the pain of giving birth and all that stuff. I'm destined to do that. So all those commutations and combinations, they will award you the body of a female. And let me bring up an interesting verse from here. And this is from Bhagavad Gita, chapter 8, where Arjun is asking this question and he's saying, Kim tad bhram, kim adhyatmam, kim karma purushottama. So he's asking, what is karma? So let's look at this. Arjuna inquired, O my supreme person, what is Brahman? What is the self? What are fruitive activities? What is the material manifestation? Prakriti, who are the demigods? Please explain this to me, right? Who is the Lord of sacrifice? How does he live in this body? O Madhusudan. And how can those engaged in devotional service know you at the time of death? The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, the indestructible transcendental living entity, that is the soul, is called Brahman. That's one of the meanings of Brahman. And his eternal nature is called Adhyatma, or the self. Look at this. Action pertaining to development of the material bodies of the living entities is called karma, or fruitive activities. So whenever you have got fruitive activities, which means whenever you did a good thing, whether it was keeping, whether it was good or bad, if you were focusing on the result, then you're going to get a body to enjoy or suffer. So depending on the kind of karmas that we get, we might get a woman's body, we might get a man's body, like that, right? It's also in the spiritual, when you look at women, because women are innocent, right? So they will be driven by a very powerful speaker and they will go and sit at any person's class and attend it. Without going into more details, they might look at the surface of it and enjoy the relational part of it. But men in general are spiritually more advanced, in general I'm saying, and they might go and question and say, oh, what you said smells of Ritvik, what you said smells of Mayavad, they'll go there. But the women might just say, oh, so nice, so beautiful, so nice. And they generally are, soft in nature, generally. But you, dear ladies, are not. You are, way beyond that. Okay, so I lost track of the questions.
Oh, yeah, I think you're answering it is why Srila Prabhupada states that women are less intelligent. So this is, and you were explaining it with the fact that why we're in a woman's body. And
exactly, and also you look at it, so this woman's body is just a type of body. You do that, there are different types of bodies. The tall bodies, they can do certain things. My husband is very tall, he can pick things from the top shelf. I will be just looking at it from here. You can't do that, got a short body, right? So also, although Prabhupada says, because he's faithfully reproducing whatever is there in the Shastras, right? So if the Shastras are saying that there is something like that, then we listen to the Shastra. He gives an example, like stool of an animal is bad, very bad. If you touch the stool of an animal, you're supposed to wash your hands, right? But stool of a cow?
Sacred.
It's sacred. It's an antiseptic. The Shastras are saying that. So, and now we are finding so many goodnesses coming out. Now more research is going into it, and we are finding out, right, that it is indeed a good thing to do. So Shastras say the right thing. It's just that we don't have the intellect at that time to be able to understand it. And as much as Krishna will call to reveal it to us, it will get revealed to us either through Acharya or through scientific experimentation. It will get revealed to us. Right. So that is one thing. The second thing is, so Prabhupada is translating the Shastras well. However, look at what Prabhupada did. Now, how many temples do you know of where a woman is the priest on the altar?
Yes.
How many temples are there in this whole world? How much percentage? Right? If you look at ISKCON of Silicon Valley, who is heading the book distribution? Who is the events director? Who is, right? Who is running the school?
Yes, a lot of women. Yes.
A lot of women.
All women.
Yeah.
All women, yeah.
But younger generation, Mataji, they don't accept that women are less intelligent.
Because
they
they
say
are not
we are doing the same thing, job and
materially. Yes, so materially, Prabhupada is not saying that they are less intelligent. Actually, to make a woman's body, lot more chemicals are used to make a woman's body than to make a man's body. And the size of a woman's brain is slightly larger than the size of a man's brain. Now, what do you have to say to that? It's all material. So all this is material. It is agyan, right? So big deal if I was a VP of a big company, or I was a CEO of a big company in a woman's body.
Younger generation argues that. That's what they say.
Yeah, so that, but younger generation, when they get exposed to this kind of literature, see, this is exactly what today's verse is saying. This is exactly, you hit the nail on the head. That if that particular generation is not entitled to get that knowledge, they will not get it. They will just continue to argue with you all the time.
I don't care for that.
Yeah, Varshana Mataji, yeah.
Hare Krishna Mataji, thank you so much for bringing up this, and Sadhna Mataji for bringing up this question. Mataji, this discussion has gone on many a times in many of the lectures and with other acharyas also. And I heard this in one of the lectures, that the man has, like you said, they were proving medically that the man has, like you see, the blood hemoglobin. If you count, the hemoglobin of the man required is more than the woman. Their number is 17 to 18, and the women is 12 to 13 is considered to be good. Then the cells also they counted, and they said that they need more of the cells. Now, after the whole discussion that on the medical grounds, whole discussion, he came to the point that man is considered to do the physical labor more than the woman, and they do it more, and that is why usually if they have to fight, they go to the battlefield. They only go to the battlefield, and they do that because physically they are stronger. So, and they have to use their intelligence also accordingly. Very quickly they have to take the decision whether to kill or not to kill. Like you see, Arjuna discussed, and Lord took 48 minutes to discuss this and tell Arjuna to come to the point that yes, it is not bad and you have to do that. And he was intelligent enough to take it very fast and did that. That is why he mentioned that the women, they get involved into, as you said, mamatva, that they like, they are more sentimental. This is what he meant. So this is what came to my mind.
Prabhupada, yes, thank you. Prabhupada, actually, this reminds me, Prabhupada in one of his lectures, and I heard somebody else speak about that, some Mataji, and she brought in a very nice example that Prabhupada gave. He was talking about, and I might get shoes thrown at me on Facebook for saying that, but he said that, so you're talking about equality between man and women. Okay, so if they're really equal, then when men and women have sex, then sometimes the woman should get pregnant, and one time the man should get pregnant, and one time the woman should get pregnant, and the man should get pregnant. That is real equality. What do you say to that? Because the bodies are different.
Yeah, but we're not. Yeah, I don't think it's talking about equality. It's just accepting the fact that some men are intelligent, some are not, some women are intelligent, some are not.
Yes, on an
it's not
average.
about equality. It's just accepting the fact that people come in all shades. That's it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So there is no such thing as absolute equality. We have to understand that, there is, men enjoy and they run away, and the lady gets pregnant and she's pointed to the whole world.
Yeah.
So you are in that position. That's why you have to be protected. But nowadays, who wants? It's fine to do.
Well, I think a lot of women would look for protection, but there aren't many men left to provide
Protect
it.
them also.
Who are trustworthy enough, right?
Exactly.
Exactly. I think that's what the Bhagavad Gita, that was the response from Shri Krishna was, if in battle the men die, then women get exposed to the bad men, right?
Yes.
Which is where we are today in Kali Yuga, basically.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
there are quite a lot of bad people around like that, right? So
Exactly.
yeah.
Exactly.
And I think women have to be intelligent to protect themselves, to be honest.
Yes.
Intelligent, but not
It's very
by
necessary.
nature. Yeah, but by nature they are soft. Yeah, by nature they are soft. You can see that in small kids. They grow up. Nobody will talk to them about women liberation or anything like that.
Exactly, and that's why mothers and people get worried. So that's why they educate them to try and help them be protected from being that innocent. You don't no longer want them to be that innocent, because the world is not there anymore for that.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yes, I was listening to one Prabhu, I'm forgetting his name, what he said, and it was a very striking point that he made. He said, women liberation was encouraged by corrupt men. Because earlier the women used to, stay covered and, stay protected. And now you come down, no, you can wear pants also, because I want to see you in pants, some of the clothing that women have are geared in a nice way so that they are protected. So it's a heavy topic. Yeah, it's a heavy topic. But since we operate on the plane of spiritualism, so it's fine. It's fine. And on a material plane, women can even excel. In India, I always used to remember growing up. I don't know what the figures are now, but there were, if you counted the literacy, there were more girls who were literate than men. When it came to high school, more girls passed the high school exam than the boys. So it was clearly written on the wall that there was no thing like that.
But India, there's a word in our language, I don't know what everybody says, a woman, a wife, she takes care of the husband like a mother, and like giving him food or taking care of him. And then sometimes when he wants some advice, she gives like this thing, the minister, she gives the advice to him.
Right.
And all those things, they say, Karyeshu Mantri Karaneshu. And then when she wants to serve like a Dasi, she serves him. And all those plans she does. Karyeshu Mantri Karaneshu Dasi, Seneshu Rambha. When sleeping, she's like Rambha. She sleeps with him. All those portions she does. But women does all that. They praise that. But I just, the intelligence wise, nowadays these kids are studying and they're arguing. But like you said, physical strength, body strength, women they never will have. But they do bear the baby 9 months, which men cannot do that. They cannot patiently wait 9 months. If this happens to men, there are some. These things are there, but I don't know. It's a big topic, like you said, Mataji.
Yes. And and talking about big topic. It's 8:04, time for me to leave.
Darshana Mataji, what is that you said in that Hindi letters? What did you say? That Bhagwan, you said?
Yes.
No.
Yeah, she said Bhagwan.
She said Bhagwan. Okay.
Yeah.
So I was just thinking of those. That's a very nice this thing. I forgot.
Varshana Mataji can think of nothing else other than Bhagwan.
I was looking for Adhoksaja Mataji. Those letters I am looking for. I didn't thought that I had another word I had to look. In fact, I can read Hindi, I know. But I thought I was looking for Adhoksaja words.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
That's very good,
Can I say
Mataji.
it? Mataji, one child, you see, went for the prayer session to the church, and the child didn't know how to say the prayer. Everybody was, you see, offering prayers to the Lord. And the child said ABC to up till Z. And the child said, and they asked him, why did you do that? He said, I don't know how to say the prayer. So everything comes in A to Z. So I said that now God
very
will make
good
the
thing.
prayer.
Very smart.
Fantastic. that exactly Mataji showed to me.
Very smart. That's a smart child. Was it a boy or a girl?
It has to be a girl.
Okay.
But you're a girl, you showed us.
Okay, now 2 quick things I wanted to tell you that the bad news are continuing to come of more parents passing away, and yeah, last night was horrible for me. So we have arranged reading of Bhagavad Gita tomorrow. So in place of our Saturday class, and I think that exact timings, etc., are there. I don't want to misquote. We read there. And tomorrow morning, I'm going to, Vaisheshika Prabhu cannot take the Japa class. He's called for some other meeting. So I'll be leading the Make Japa Great Again sessions. I'll be doing that. So this is another chance for us to come together and chant.
So tomorrow evening, 6 o'clock again? Bhagavad Gita?
That you have to look on the Bhakta Viksha group.
Alrighty.